another episode of Shoes Off Inside. You can see Kelly, who is with me in the yes, there's my little dog Darla sleeping.
She's settled down.
Is she?
I thought she was going to be. She was like on my head. She was scratching.
For now, don't worry. Within this episode, I'm sure that's going to happen. But
she's going to make an appearance. Yeah.
Tamlyn is joining us from her new
from the Outside In Theater Art Box, which is here in Northeast LA, Highland Park. We're very, very, very pleased to say that the art space, the Outside In Theater, that's been under construction, just received its temporary certificate of occupancy last week. So we're busy, bringing people in and saying, we need to know how you feel. We need to we need to know, what we need to do, because we've never done this before. So
I know.
May and Kelly are going to be, one of our very first few guests. So, and in the public.
Exactly. So before we started recording, we were saying that we would love to come to the theater and actually do an episode and talk about like what it took to open this theater, because you've never done this before.
We've never done this before. My husband, Daniel Blinkoff,
no idea.
Nope.
So, and I know you guys ran into some hiccups and because of the permits and all that stuff and construction, as we know, but it's exciting to hear that it's finally.
Well, thank you. And I just can give you a quick clue, because this is the art box. This is literally the little 900 square foot little black box, as they say in theater world, that is for improv. We've shot 3 little films in here, podcasts have been in here, but I just want to show you this, if you can see.
Look at that beautiful
Is that
window.
outside? Does that the other side of that?
Outside.
That is our front window. That's one of 2 front windows of the art box. But just keep that in mind when you come visit Outside In Theater in person. So there's a special reason why I showed you that.
Well, we're gonna I think the next episode we're gonna have to do there. So,
for sure.
But so this is the first time we are doing an episode and meeting up like this since our last episode, which was over a month ago, I think.
Was it?
I lost track of time. Yes, it had to have been, because
yes,
my mother had not passed away at that
point.
Yeah.
I did not realize that.
Yep.
Because we shot the episode and then like 3 days later.
It was about a week or 2 after.
Oh, I felt like it was so much faster.
Yeah, no, I remember that episode where we were talking about the difficulty of elderly parents, aging parents, and then caretaking, and how stressful that is. And then
May, can you walk us back, just in case people are catching up to this episode, because to launch into it, because you're still processing. We're Kelly and I are here with you, and I think it's just a good reminder to let everybody know that you and your family have crossed a major chapter in your lives. So.
Yeah, and in so many ways. So just to go back a little bit, so my mom, she had been struggling with her 3rd round of cancer.
Right.
She was diagnosed last year with a very specific kind of lymphoma. So we started chemo, and she at that time was 87 years old. So chemo on anyone is really hard.
Right.
But we decided to go through with it because the doctors had said, this kind of lymphoma, it's very successful, to beat it if you do treatment. So we said, okay, well, let's do it, because the doctor had said if she doesn't get any kind of treatment, she'll have 4 to 6 months. Right.
Oh, wow.
Because it was a very aggressive kind of lymphoma. And so, of course, the decision was, well, we got to try. Well, she got through it, and she was declared that she was in remission. So it had worked. But the chemo, she couldn't get over the chemo.
Right.
It's too harsh.
Right. Yeah.
So she was slowly declining, time. And so finally, my mic is dropping here. So finally, she's weakened so much. And that's the last episode when I was talking about the fact that she had no energy. I think I told you guys how I was giving her a bath, and, it was just like this moment where she just said to me, I wish I could die now, because she was so happy at that time with me and, me taking care of her. And then, she again slowly was deteriorating. And we finally, on June 11th, we decided to start home hospice care. And here's the thing, we'll get into this, but even knowing that she was starting hospice, it doesn't register that means like we're giving up, right? That didn't register for me. I wasn't saying she's gonna die, that's why we're doing this. I was looking at it as, well, we're gonna get the help.
Yeah.
We're gonna get more assistance.
Right.
And maybe she'll start eating, maybe she'll get better, and because we'll have like professional help.
You thought she would get out of hospice.
Yeah, or like something would happen where she would improve, and that's what the mind does, right? You start thinking like sometimes illogically, but sometimes, it's just because you're hopeful. She passed away the very next day. She lasted one day in hospice, and she passed away at 11:33 the next night.
Oof.
And Tamlyn, I'm going to thank you for what you told me in the last episode. You said you have to say I love you to your mom, right? Remember that? You're like, May Lee, you have to say it. I know as Asians we don't say it, right?
Yeah.
We do it through action. And you were saying your husband Daniel, forced you to start saying it to your mom.
Yes.
You have to say, and now your mom says it more than you do, right?
And it's annoying, lovingly annoying. Yeah.
Annoying, right?
Right.
So that day when I was with her, not knowing she was going to pass away, I had spent the entire day with her. I was spending all day with her, every day. But that day I was with her, and I don't know what got into me. I didn't think she was going to die. I really didn't think she was going to pass away.
Yeah.
But I recalled that conversation that we had on our show.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, they're right. I got to say it. So I said to her in Korean, 사랑해, 사랑해, 엄마. That means I love you, right? I said it twice. She heard me because in a very weak voice, in a whisper, she said in English, I love you. Yeah. And I recalled after the fact that is exactly what happened right before my father passed away. And he said to her in English.
Oh, wow.
When he was hit, in that horrible car accident, when he was hit by a 16-year-old driver, before he was taken away by the ambulance and he lost consciousness, he said that to my mother. And those were the final words he said to her. So I don't know if that was like a conscious thing for my mom to say, I love you in English back to me when I had said it in Korean.
In Korean.
Yeah.
Wow.
Why do I feel like saying it in Korean means so much more?
I think that's why I said it in Korean, because I wanted her to hear it in our language, or her language, I should say.
To be 100% sure that she understood what you said. Yeah.
But the fact that she heard it and she responded, and
that's so beautiful.
And then that night she passed.
Sometimes I'll tell my mom I love you, and she'll say, yeah.
Does she ever say it back to you?
Yeah, she does. She does.
Okay.
But it's like really fast. Okay, yeah, I love you. Goodbye.
Yeah.
But see, that's maybe because you guys say it, so it's kind of like a norm.
Yeah,
right.
So there was a point where at one time, as an adult, a young adult, I didn't say it, and then I started saying it later in life. And here's the Darla.
Yep.
But
she's saying I love you. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that there's, for a lot of times when we're young, when we're kids, we can say it. When we're like little, right? And then you stop saying it. I used to love saying it when I was a kid.
It was not part of our household to say it.
Yeah.
So that's why I think it packs such a punch.
Yeah.
And, you know, honestly, Tamlyn, I'm so grateful we've had that conversation, honestly, because, and I even said that in the eulogy at her service. You know, I said, my girlfriends and I were talking about this, and, you know, that's the reason why I said it to her. And so I told all my cousins who were, it was family only, and it was all Korean for the most part. I said, so to my cousins, please start saying this to your parents if you're not saying it, because, you know, you will never be sorry.
You should make them do it right then and there.
I know.
Your parents right now.
They were all there too. They were all there too. But one of my aunts came up to me afterwards and said, she was like, "Thank you so much for saying that. That was so." She's a traditional Korean woman too. So it impacted her too.
Yeah. Why? I mean, as Asians, we don't normally say it, right? But yet we know it. I feel like it's something that's just sort of taken for granted.
I don't know if it's
no, I don't think it's taken for granted. I think it's just not in, you know, and I think there's been generations of conversations about this very topic. It's just, we don't, for whatever reason, because we do it in our actions. Actions speak louder than words, which is a very Western kind of a notion, but it's and I think that's the beauty of being Asian Americans. Is like we're always struggling or traumatized by having to be one foot in one world and the other foot in the other world, but when they blend, it's like, oh my God. And the unexpected gifts of saying I love you to one person, how it multiplies. It's that, it just is infectious. It's this wonderful, wonderful thing. To your aunt to say that to you, it's like, it's, and they always say, the hardest step of any journey is that first step. And I'm just so glad that you took it, May. I mean, for all the other attempts in your life, in your lifetimes with your mama to say, I love you, this was a meaningful one, and you got to share it with us and all the listeners and the watchers here. And hopefully it will just, inspire people just to take a chance.
Yeah.
And that, every time you say I love you, it doesn't have to be so weighted and so, oh my God, or romantic or meaningful. It's just a way to say, the three most important words that any human being wants to hear and to share in their lifetimes. So I'm just really grateful.
The one thing I will share also, and because you two are still fortunate to have your moms.
Yeah.
Right? So again, just to kind of refresh people's memories, or people who don't know, I lost my father it'll be 14 years ago, September, but that was a very different kind of loss.
Yeah.
He was killed by
a
driver, right? So it was just total trauma, right? Very unexpected. So that kind of loss was just like, just hit hard so much that I like don't even remember parts of it because it was so traumatic. And he was my father. So, fathers have, they have a different place in our lives, different relationships. Yeah. Losing a mother, I feel like my soul has lost its foundation. Because a mother, depending on your relationship, of course, but I can only speak for myself. The mother carries you, she births you, she nurtures you, right? And then with Asian mothers, especially my mother, and I've talked about this with my other like Korean American friends as well, they take up a lot of space in our lives. Now, and I mean for better or for worse, right?
Yeah.
They take up a lot of headspace, a lot of space.
Yeah.
And so because
they demand it.
They demand it.
They demand it. Yeah.
That's how we honor them. That's how we love them. We honor our mothers that way. And so I remember having this conversation with my girlfriend, Alice, whose Korean mother is very, very similar. And she was saying, what am I going to do when that's gone? And she was empathizing with me because, I said, now that my mother is gone, there's this whole empty space that she used to occupy.
Right.
And it's a really hollow feeling. And I feel like that's why I was saying to you guys via text, I feel adrift.
Yeah.
I feel
it's
an
like
anchor.
that umbilical cord is cut.
The umbilical
Literally,
cord,
yeah.
you know, it's like I don't have that anchor anymore. And then now that I don't have both my parents are gone, you know, I've now joined that club of orphans, right?
Yep.
No
Yep.
parents,
Yep.
and no more attachment to that history of the generation, right?
Yeah.
And that's weird too. That's a weird feeling.
Yeah. I really understand that. The no attachment, because there's no one to ask like about your history and your culture anymore.
Yeah. I mean, there are relatives.
I mean, you have aunts and uncles and stuff like that. And sometimes the aunties spill the best tea.
Yeah.
They're like, they will tell you way more than your parents ever would.
Yeah, that's true.
But I do understand.
But that direct connection to the parents is gone.
Yes.
But again, going back to the mother, it's a really different feeling having lost my mother.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Can I ask you, because, you know, this is something that's always curious, because again, Kelly and I have our mothers still. Was there because your mother had gone through cancer, not just this last time, but 3 times, you know, I think as human being, or as myself, you always try to prepare or think about, imagine, you know, dream about what it's like to not be with your mother. And I'm sure the answer is from you is like, it's completely different. Nothing that I expected. I mean, the depth of it, I think it's the depth of it, of how, when you're saying foundationally, you know, that's why you adrift, something that was unexpected, you know.
I think we, as human beings, we kind of, speaking of taking things for granted, we kind of just take it for granted that, you know, your mom and your dad are going to be around. Even as they age, it's such a funny thing. And I was saying this to Kelly last night, because she came last night.
Right.
I said, you know, it's funny when you hear about other people's parents or relatives passing away and you ask, oh, how old were they? And, you know, if they say like 88 or, you know, 87, whatever, you kind of say, oh, you know, you think to yourself, oh, they were old. Right. And that almost like makes it okay.
Right.
But when you're finally in it and faced with the reality of losing somebody that you love, doesn't matter how old, doesn't matter how sick, you still want them to live.
Yeah.
You still want them to live.
Yeah.
Faced with the idea of losing them. And that's why for me, even though we started home hospice, it didn't register to me because I didn't want to accept it. I wasn't like, oh yeah, this is because we're preparing for her to die.
Yeah. Right.
I was like thinking, no, she's sick, so we're going to get some help.
Right.
Maybe she's going to like turn.
Would you have made another choice if you had thought of it?
Well, we tried to actually hire a caregiver first. But we couldn't we couldn't get that right. And so that's when we said, okay, well, maybe professional home hospice.
What do you mean you couldn't get that right? What does that mean?
Well, we couldn't find the right person. That's when we were like, okay, let's look into home hospice. And that's when we realized, okay, that they actually are really like, they're scheduled about it. The nurse comes in a couple times a week. Hygienist kind of person comes in twice a week to give the bath and, you know, clean and, you know, all that stuff. So it was very regular. It was like very scheduled. And so that's when we're like, okay, at least this is like medical professionals coming in to kind of do this. So we thought, okay, that's going to help, because we ourselves were like, well, we can do the other stuff. We're already doing the other stuff. We're already like, my sister-in-law is trying to, you know, cook her food and
bathe her. Yeah.
We needed the caregiver to do that stuff. So I think that's where we kind of deducted like, okay, then the medical stuff, the monitoring of her, you know, sort of condition and all that, that's when the nurse can come in. And so that's how we sort of drew the conclusion, like, okay, maybe home hospice makes sense.
Do you think your mother knew what home hospice was, what that meant, and she just let go?
I think so.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what happens, right? Is that they just give into it.
Yeah. And here's a couple things I learned, and hopefully this will be good information for our viewers and listeners, and for you guys too, if you're not aware. The home hospice consultant and the nurse, they meet with you first, and then you have to sign all this paperwork, right? Documents and everything like that.
Ton.
It's a lot, but it's understandable. Like do you want us to try to resuscitate or not? If she has to be taken to the hospital, then we have to be notified, because it's all about insurance and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But two things that they said to me, which I thought were really important. One was, well, this was after, actually, I should say. This was after she passed. The nurse came back that night because they have to sign off. And she said to my brother and I, she said, just so you know, most people start hospice care too late.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
We see it all the time. So we see that they start too late, and so they do end up passing away pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
She said, your mom, it was only one day, so that was really quick. She also said to me, when she met with us the day before, when we were signing all the paperwork and about to start, she said when she saw my mother and assessed her, she didn't think she had very long at all.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Say anything to my brother and I, because she didn't think we were ready to hear that.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah, they see it all the time.
Yeah. So she knew. Apparently, I mean, I don't know if she knew she was going to pass that quickly, but she said to us after the fact, she's like, I knew that she was not good. She did not have long.
Mm.
But I couldn't tell you that day, yesterday, because I could tell that both of you probably weren't ready to hear that.
Yeah.
Do you think that made you feel better?
That she didn't tell us?
No, that she told you all this information.
Yeah. I mean, yes, because I was in shock. I mean, yes, my mother was ill, but can you guys imagine? She died one day after the bed was delivered, all the supplies, everything was set up.
Yeah.
It was like 24 hours.
Yeah.
And so that was a shock. So when she said that, it did make me feel like, oh, okay, so I guess we didn't realize how bad off she was.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And again, that's just a child wanting, her mom to live longer.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So when she said that was like, okay, I get that. And it was just, she said a lot of people do this. They start hospice care too late.
Yeah.
And then they're kind of surprised that, their loved one passes so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So there were interesting things I learned. And then the other thing the consultant said to me when we were signing the hospice to start, this woman is very experienced. And I asked her, of course, the journalist in me, I was like, have you ever had clients who started hospice and ended up living a lot longer, and like healthy lives, or like, not recovering like per se, but like, still like being, pretty vibrant, whatever. And she said, yes. And I said, okay, what happened? And she said, well, they were all cancer patients. They all had cancer. They were all elderly, upper 70s and older, 80s, 90s. They all had cancer, but they all chose not to have treatment.
Oh.
Okay. Now, for anyone who's in the medical world listening to this, you're probably not going to like this, but too bad. But this is a woman who's been doing hospice for a long time and seen everything.
And her experience, her world of experience. Yeah.
She said that with the elderly, cancer doesn't grow as quickly. Cells are old. What does cancer love? It loves healthy cells. That's what it's going after.
Right.
So when you're dealing with an elderly person with cancer, she's like, not always, but often, the cancer doesn't spread as fast.
Yeah.
But when you start treating it and radiating it and chemotherapy and surgery, it's disrupting the body. And so it's the treatment that kills the person.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes it is the treatment. Yeah.
Cancer.
Yeah.
And so she's like, those hospice patients that she's seen, they did not receive any cancer treatment, and they ended up living for several years.
Wow.
And so she said, I wish the medical world would be more honest about treating elderly cancer patients. Often they should not get the treatment that a typically younger person should get when they have cancer.
Right. Yeah.
And she's like, because it's a money-making operation.
Yeah. And because, exactly what you just went over is that radiation and chemotherapy basically kills all your cells. So your regenerative properties in your body can grow anew. And so it's like, it's so aggressive. That's a very interesting.
That's a hard choice.
It is a hard choice.
Because so at what age do you feel like that is the case? Like,
she said
70s?
80. She said 80 and beyond.
80 and beyond.
Yeah, that's what she said. Again, that this is just from this woman's perspective.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
But then my sister-in-law, who's lived in China, all her life, and she's here now, but she grew up in China. She said, "Oh, that's a Chinese philosophy too."
Oh, wow.
Elderly shouldn't cut into cancer. They shouldn't do anything to disrupt the disease because that'll just intensify it.
Right. Yeah. Well, because of the treatment that we have available right now. Okay.
It's like an Eastern medicine kind of philosophy as well. Yeah. But anyway, I'm just sharing this because I think it's just interesting to kind of be aware of this stuff. Now, in my mother's case, when she told me this and I thought about it after my mother passed, I felt guilty. Korean guilty.
Oh.
Because I was like, oh my God, if we hadn't said, let's do the chemo, maybe she would still be alive and she wouldn't have had to suffer like that for the last year. But then I kind of said to myself, you know what, actually, my mom being the kind of person she is, whenever she had any kind of illness or she wasn't well or she felt like something was wrong, she would always want to deal with it. She would want some sort of medicine or some sort of treatment or something.
Yes. Yeah.
I believe medicine.
Yeah.
There's some kind of medicine. Yep.
I don't think my mother would have been the type of person to say, like, know that she had cancer and that would have been like, yeah, I'm just going to live with it.
Yeah. And there's treatments around and yeah. And again, addressing you how you said you just felt guilty. I think it's inevitable. We all want the best. We all want the better outcome. And I think this is going to be a period where you're going to be ping-ponging between what you did or what you didn't do, what your brother and, your sister, the family did and didn't do. And just realize that's part of the process because you went through it with your dad, I'm sure, with a different set of circumstances. Like, what if I drove my dad to work every day? Again, it's just, it's natural. It's necessary, I think, because it really checks in as to our own accountability and, how we can do better the next time and how we can do better for ourselves in the time that we have left on this earth and for the ones that we love. So, it's you didn't dictate that, you're going to get chemo. This was a discussion. It was a thorough discussion with your siblings, and it wasn't a thought that was willy-nilly or, something that you were trying to impose upon your mom. And, having all those factors, it's just, give yourself a break when you have those feelings, but know that it's a part of this process. It's a part of it. So
I know. So, I mean, again, you hear this all the time and it's almost cliche, but please appreciate, the time that you have.
Yeah.
We talked about
your
this.
Your living loved ones and all that, because you can't, there's no going back.
We talked about this when I was driving up here about how I like to encourage people to take a video of their parents and grandparents.
Oh yeah.
And just sit with the camera. We always video ourselves, right?
Yep.
And post things, but we don't do it for our elders.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have a video of my mom being interviewed.
Yeah.
But I did do it with my grandmother. I waited though until she was a little, she already had some dementia going on. She was really funny actually. And when I played it for my mom's like, that's not true. There were all kinds of stories that she had made up. but it was fun just to have the video.
Yeah.
And
Hey.
Oh, look at the love bug.
but okay, thank you, Darla. I encourage people to put a video camera in front of their parents or grandparents and just ask them questions about the olden days.
Yeah.
I used to love that when I was a kid.
See, I
used to sit at my grandparents' feet, and my aunt, when I was living on Maui, and this was before the internet, right? When we actually had more interaction with our elders. And I would sit at their feet and I would just say, tell me about the olden days. And they would always make them feel so old. But they would just start telling me stories about like, oh yeah, so when I was young, this happened or this didn't exist. And
that's pretty
as a
cool
child,
that you did that as a kid.
I loved hearing these stories.
Yeah.
And I still do.
Yeah.
I love talking to people who come from other countries. And I want to know, like, what was it like before you came to America?
Yeah.
Like why did you decide to give up everything that you knew and move to a country that you had never been to or didn't speak the language or whatever? I'm just so curious about why people make these choices or what it was like in a place that I didn't know.
You know, a friend of mine, Gina, she is a journalist like me. And now she has her own production company and she does mostly corporate videos and all that. But she tried to start another business where she would professionally, if she was hired, she and her crew would interview families or like loved ones, whatever, just to get their history and their stories.
I love that.
Didn't succeed. She's like, people didn't really want to pay for that. And they didn't have the patience to sit there and like talk about it. That's the problem. People actually do not want to take the time to do that.
Yes.
And think about the younger generation. They can barely watch a 30-second video.
Yep.
You think they're going to sit there and interview their mom or dad or, you know, for hours on end?
Yep.
You know, that's the issue. That's part of the problem.
I actually paid for one of those books called Storyworth.
Yeah.
Where you
have the prompts.
Mom, and there were all these prompts and they would ask her questions. My mom didn't want to do it.
Yeah, see?
She said it was like homework.
Yep.
Well, that's right.
If it was in the form of a video where she could just sit and talk. First of all, my mother is very vain, so she would be worried about her hair and her makeup and looking old and all that kind of stuff.
Of course.
But I think that if you just kind of said, well, this is not for public, this is just for us.
Yeah.
You know, and if she of course she would do it for my niece, her grandchild, because she lives for her grandchild. But you know, I think there's so much of that history, that spoken history,
that
would be lost
without a doubt
if we never asked the questions.
Well, so here I'm going to show you something. I'm going to lift your mic for a second. So my mom, after my father died, she went to his grave every day for a year, and sat there.
Wow.
And wrote poetry.
What?
Poetry.
Yeah. And then she published
it.
And these are all poems that she wrote during the year.
Oh
my
God,
father's
that's
death.
so beautiful.
But it's not just about my father, and you know, it's all sorts of things
just
that
inspired.
would come to her. And then she also accompanied some of her poems with her paintings.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, see, look, so some of her paintings.
Wow.
Holy moly.
So I remember this whole process because I helped her with this.
I wish it was in English so I could
I know.
read it.
No, well, now with all the apps, are you kidding? Some of this Korean I do not understand. Like I'm like reading so slowly that it doesn't.
But also,
like
I'm sure that it's so much more poetic in Korean.
So sometimes I'll use it. I use an app to have it orally
translate.
read it to
Yeah.
me. Translation of words, but it'll read it to me in Korean. So then I can get the essence, the nuances,
right?
Or if it's translated into English text, it doesn't have the same impact, of course.
Yeah.
But so I remember helping her choose kind of different paintings and then naming each painting for her.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Beautiful keepsake.
Yeah. So she published all these books, you know, as a memory for, you know, honoring my father, but then also just, you know, her artistry and all that. And so now,
wow.
boxes. I didn't realize she had all these extra books, all these boxes. And so because we're cleaning stuff out, that's a whole nother.
Oh yeah.
Cleaning stuff out and going through her stuff. And so there's so many extra books. My brother was like, well, what should we do? You know, my brother, he's like, not like me. It's like, should I just give them to the library? I'm like, dude, you think a Western library is going to want boxes and boxes of Korean poetry books? I'm like, no, I'm going to find somewhere to donate it to.
You should have given it to the family at the funeral.
No. They already have copies. So I donated several boxes to an organization here in LA called KFAM.
Yeah.
And they help Korean families, single mothers, immigrants, elderly. I've been, part of that organization. I've emceed their galas and stuff. And so I gave them several big boxes of books, and they were like, oh my gosh, we're going to give this to each client and person who comes in. And I'm like, perfect. This is perfect because it'll be inspirational.
Yeah.
In their language. And at least I feel like my mom's legacy of kind of.
You spread her seeds around again.
So I think that would have made her really happy knowing that her books are being passed along. These families. But yeah, so, I think it's a way to kind of.
You know what? Can we document that? What is the name of your mom's book? So people will, somebody will probably, be affected and influenced by that book. So you could say this is the genesis of this book that you got anonymously from KFAM, that this is, from Maylee's mama.
Should I translate it?
Yeah. And then
you can't read Korean.
No, I can.
She can.
It won't make sense to me. That's the thing. So here, you guys keep talking. I'm going to translate it.
And then what is your mama's name so we could say it out loud?
Oh, Myung Lee.
Her
whole name is Myung Ha Lee.
Myung Ha Lee.
Okay, so this is the translation. That's where the translation doesn't really make sense. The push of the golden goal is what it translates to.
Mm-hmm.
But really what that means is it's kind of like pushing for
a higher purpose or higher. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
I mean, there's poems in here about when I was training for a triathlon and how she saw my perseverance. I mean, all sorts of different poems throughout that year of what she went through.
So this is a year of poems and writings of Myung Ha Lee, a year after your father's death, which occurred in 2011. 2000. So this book was probably written 2012 and published around 2013.
Yeah, so the publication date was, hang on, let me see where that is. Oh, it's not here. But
but around that time, right?
It was around that time. So look at this painting. Okay, so this is a painting.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Right? With an umbrella. Them? It's them. So I named it for her. I said, how about Romance in the Rain? And then this poem is about, when they were dating.
Oh, see, yeah.
My parents being romantic.
I mean,
it's not that common to see an elderly Asian.
No. It's a year in the life of a woman who lost her husband and the life reflected. So to be pushing towards the golden goal, because I think what I'm getting is that year she was pushing towards, a higher purpose, the higher purpose.
And trying to survive, really, because that year was just, it's devastating. It was devastating for all of us and for her. So she would go to his grave. And look, where my parents both now are buried, it's beautiful. It's one of the most beautiful cemeteries. It overlooks the water in Corona del Mar.
Down there. Wow.
Pacific View Memorial. That's where Kobe Bryant is buried and John Wayne. But it's a beautiful setting. So there's
my dad would have loved to be buried next to John Wayne. I know, Oh my God. I know. That was his hero.
His grave is very unassuming, but but it's a cemetery where there's no tombstones allowed.
So it's just all flat.
All flat. So it looks like a park.
My dad's is too.
It looks like a park.
Yeah.
Right. So we actually go and have picnics there, when it's Father's Day or whatever, And so
picnicking with Dad.
So so my mom would go there every day, and sit there for hours every day.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful that you have this insight of your mother just being so introspective. I don't think a lot of us have that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's an artist though.
And it's
Yes.
not just a Asian or a woman or an Asian woman. It's just like a lot of human beings don't have that wherewithal, that
Right.
kind of dedication to, sit there to be at the grave of your loved one for a year and put something tangible down,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
And the paintings.
Yeah.
I mean, she was a very
Wow.
talented artist. So she,
Yeah.
like, look at the sunflower. She loves
You have so
sunflowers.
many
So mainly, do you have 2 extra books for me and Kelly?
Oh, absolutely.
Yay.
We
Thank
still
you.
have a couple of boxes of these books. So I'm going to save them to give out to people who may want them. But I'm also trying to find others to donate to that are worthy causes that would appreciate something like this.
Yeah.
I don't want to, like my brother, sorry, Benjamin, but like you were a total, like, kind of dude thinking, oh, this is donate to the library.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You know about the Korean Center for Children, and it's in K-Town.
Yeah.
Huh?
Well, there's KFAM, there's KCAF, there's
KCAF, yeah.
There's so many.
Yeah.
So I do know, I actually contacted another organization
Okay.
that I worked with, and they were like, oh yeah, we probably wouldn't need them, but she's like, I'm going to find other, but I was like thinking like Korean senior centers, because I think they would really appreciate something like
Korean
this.
churches.
Korean churches for
Yeah,
sure.
for sure. Yeah.
So I will continue to find the right home.
I'll take a few to my Korean poker buddies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I have to bring
I'm playing
them
with them tonight
because they're in Cerritos right now.
Oh,
so I'm
okay.
going to bring a couple boxes back. So when
Okay.
you come back, I'll definitely have more.
Okay.
Oh, Bear and his buddies would actually really
Yes.
appreciate it.
Yes.
Especially if people understand the story behind.
Yeah.
Mm.
Right?
It's
They have to
beautiful.
understand how it came about.
Can I suggest something, May? Can you write a short?
Oh, like a little intro?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
a
that's a
little
good
pamphlet
idea.
to put in there.
Yeah.
That's a good
Because
idea.
you're a known entity.
Yeah.
You're a known entity. It was a public, life event that you shared with us. And
Right.
this is a surprise to me and Kelly. But what a, again, cliche word, what a treasure, what a gift that she left us. It's like, and that was, 14 years ago, but still it's like for you to give that to us. It's like, it's little seeds that.
It's part of her legacy.
Yeah.
So
Just use the Google Translate.
Yeah.
I know, but like if you have to hear it in Korean, so of course it's more impactful, but then you don't understand it, so you do have to translate it, but you get the gist.
Yeah.
But because it comes along with these beautiful paintings, it's
gorgeous,
really meaningful.
Yeah.
And it's like all her work.
Yeah.
So Mom, I know you're smiling right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's so beautiful. So how wonderful. And again, we've been saying is like all the things that she left behind, but she left us you, Mei Lee. So, and you're doing all that you can to, pollinate the world, and with your love and your criticisms about this fucking shithole that we're in. But again,
for a couple minutes, because then you have a hard out in like 8 minutes. So we
don't have enough time to complain about everything that's going on.
Okay, what just happened yesterday
with CBS?
Stephen Colbert's show.
The rescission of NPR and PBS and foreign aid. Yeah,
all my favorite networks.
No. But I was saying to Kelly this morning over coffee. I mean, this is fascism. This is what fascists do. Yeah. They want to take away the media. They control the media. They kill education. They kill freedom of speech. All of that. It's all in alignment with exactly what a fascist does.
Yep.
That's so scary.
And so we are in it. People need to fucking wake up.
Yeah.
We're in it.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. It is happening right now.
Yep.
Right here. Yeah.
Yep. I think people need to wake up to the fact that all the all the Republicans are just capitulating because it's a survival thing. They want to be able to keep their jobs. They don't want to piss off, the orange Cheeto. Yeah. Yeah.
No, but that badly. Like, you really want to stay a congressperson?
Yeah.
That badly.
Yeah, that's all you can do in your life. Yeah.
But really, it's not that important to like throw away democracy and sell your fucking soul.
Well, I think that's the power, and I think that this is something that you, me, and Kelly know about. It's the seduction of fame. I have the title of congressperson or senator or whatever I'm the director of the FBI, da 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 da. It's fame and power.
Power. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's understandable, but it's like, to what end? Right? You have fame and power to the destruction of the country, and then what's left for you?
Yeah. It's again, I think it's going to get worse. I think what I'm really worried about is this, the muscle building of ICE, and
the fact they received more funding for that.
Yeah.
That's a heartbreak. I think I've said this maybe online, but I'm already heartbroken over my mother. But even before that, all these ICE raids and these illegal arrests were every day when I see those videos, my heart breaks into a million pieces. I can't take it.
Yeah.
I can't take it. It's just, there's nothing that anyone is doing, except some protests and some resistance, but that even,
people are they're trying to figure out what to do individually, and then we all collect in our groups. Us three are doing this right now as we speak, and we're just trying to figure out what we can do, because it's a movement. There will be pushback. There is pushback.
People who are doing something in California, and I have to congratulate them, the tow trucks.
Oh, but there aren't enough tow trucks. I love it.
Kudos to them.
I do love that. I do. They're towing illegally parked ICE agent cars.
Yeah.
And because they just kind of park on the street and they fuck around, whatever. And so the tow trucks are towing the cars.
Yep.
Because they're illegally parked.
Yep.
Right. And they're not official cars.
Yep.
Right. They're official police cars or government cars. They wouldn't. But these are fucking just private citizen fucking cars.
But how do we or kidnapping or even ICE agents?
Exactly.
We don't know.
Nope.
Yeah.
It's all so frightening.
No,
anybody could be out there.
Yep.
Just pulling people off the street.
Here's the other kind of
women, children,
kind of hopeful thing, but it's kind of a very twisted way of having hope. But this whole Epstein file controversy, right? And MAGA implode, right?
Oh yeah.
Like they're literally like losing their fucking minds because files aren't being released, right?
Because he did promise, right?
He promised exactly. But of course they're saying no files. There's no videotapes, even though Pam Bondi said there's thousands of hours of videotape.
Yep.
Now Kash Patel is saying, what? There's no videotapes. Anyway, going back to the original, what I was going to originally say. So MAGA is imploding over at the Epstein files. Of all things that they can get angry about, that somebody was saying this is the first time that MAGA thinks that Donald Trump is lying. First time. Files, right?
Welcome to being woke.
Yeah, whatever it takes. I don't care. I want them to eat their own.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what's happening. Like Nick Fuentes, that hard right-wing crazy guy, he went off on his show yesterday.
Oh, he did?
Oh, he's like, this guy's a hack. He's a liar.
Talking about Donald Trump that way?
Oh, yeah. He's like, MAGA has been sold. I mean, it's like we've all been scammed.
Wow.
We're going to look back on history with the MAGA movement, and it's going to be a scam. And Donald Trump is the biggest scam artist. He said that.
Wow.
And do you know how many followers he has? Yeah.
Wow.
So this could be the turning point.
But it's too late. He's in office and he's still in there for another 3.5 years.
But here's the problem. Okay. And then we can wrap things up because Tam has to go. Here's the problem. JD Vance, if Trump is pushed out, okay, because of this whole Epstein file thing, JD Vance, who's next in line, right? And he's just as bad, if not worse.
Oh,
right?
I don't know enough about him.
That's the fear. It's like, it's not going to change much.
Yeah.
Donald Trump right now is like a figurehead. It's really Stephen Miller and all those evil masterminds behind, the curtain.
Right.
So unless they're all gotten rid of, it's not much is going to change. That's not me being a pessimist. It's just, I just see
it's just reality. Yeah. It's reality. Yeah.
Reality. So,
I'm an optimist.
Good. We need more of you because I'm not. I'm definitely not. And I'll leave. Okay, we'll wrap it up this way. kind of coming back to the mother thing.
Yeah.
My mother was my tether, right? And so I always said, as long as my mother's alive, I'm not going anywhere. I can't, right? I have to stay here. I have to stay put because that's my responsibility.
So does that mean you're going to go on the 4-year cruise around the world?
I mean, the thought has crossed my mind. I mean, when I saw that, I was like, yeah. So, but realistically and seriously, yeah, it does make me kind of think about like, oh, wow, this is interesting now for me.
I'll take care of the dogs.
Yeah. No, my dogs are coming with me.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I'm not saying I want to give up. I think we still have to continue to fight.
Yeah.
Continue because, this country is built on such strong principles, and we need to try to save it.
Yeah.
But right now it's pretty hard, but still, I still have fight in me, but I'm tired.
Yeah, sure.
I'm tired.
And we all need a break. We all need a break. Yeah.
Oh, speaking of which, can you just quickly how was that trip of yours?
Oh, it was brilliant. Paris, there was a thunderstorm. It was hot rain. We saw it was gorgeous. The lightning all throughout Paris hitting the, Eiffel Tower. A castle in Aberdeen, Scotland. So Brian and Bethany, felicitations to you in your marriage. It was a beautiful, beautiful wedding in a castle in Scotland. And then London was gorgeous. And if anybody can go to London, make sure you go see the show My Neighbor Totoro. Oh my God.
Really?
Magical. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah. Good. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I need a trip to Europe then.
Yeah. You got to go.
I need a trip period somewhere. So I know
you should do that.
Yeah, I know.
Keep
I should.
that to yourself.
All right, Tam. I know you have to run.
Yes.
It's 10:30, and I
love you guys. Thank you. Thank you. Love you. Bye.
Love you.
Love you, Meili. Bye.
Okay. Oh, we're still on. Okay. Bye. Thank you for watching. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook.
Wait, we're still on?
Yeah, we're still recording. Facebook, Instagram. Subscribe, please, to our YouTube channel.
Tell them subscribe.
Is there anything else we want to say? And this is Sugi over here. Now you can see her because we're on the bigger screen.
Yes.
Yeah, where's the little rascal?
I've been petting her off screen the entire time. Look at she's tired now.
So Darla is now just over 5 months old. So,
wow.
And she, the dogs are the serotonin that I need every day.
Yeah.
So, all right. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
We got to cut this because
Thanks,
my
everyone.
knees are giving out.
I know. Bye, everyone. Thank you.